What's up, Men's Physique fans, and welcome back to another video. There's a lot to catch up on in the world of Men's Physique. We had two pro shows this past weekend, which is where we welcome your two newest Olympia qualified athletes. We're going to recap both shows and talk about what this means for the competitive landscape moving forward. And just as we welcome your newest new Olympians, we cannot forget about your three new IFBB pros who competed and earned their pro cards this past weekend at Junior USA's in South Carolina. And Ryan Clark opens up about his soured friendship with Brandon Hendrickson after what one says was a misunderstanding, whereas the other looks at it as a blatant disrespect. Even Brandon's mom gets involved. Yeah, so it's safe to say we have a lot to catch up on. But before we get there, I wanted to remind you guys that I am now taking on one-on-one coaching clients. So if you or a friend are looking to compete for the first time, get nationally qualified, or maybe earn an IFBB Pro card, or potentially shut it down and focus on building a better version of you for a future stage appearance, all you guys have to do is click the link in my bio. I can promise you guys this, it won't be easy. But if you're looking for a coach who prioritizes communication, who is going to get their check-ins back to you in a timely manner, and who's going to build an individualized plan in order to help maximize your fullest potential, all you guys have to do is click the link in my bio. But now that that's out of the way, I want you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy this video.
Grapevine, but I ain't hearing nothing great. No, they want to take it all from me, so I give what it takes. Whole life been a miracle, seen everything but a cape. Why would I stop now? Found everything on a journey, but another way. Look, I'm not.
After two shows and two top three finishes, Andre Dayu shows up in Reno, Nevada at the Legion Sports Festival and punches his ticket to the Olympia. But before we get there, let's quickly break down your top four finalists, starting off with your fourth place finisher in Shun Kaneko. Now, I have been a fan of Shun's physique over the last couple of years, but more specifically last season after watching him run the gauntlet. And he has made a lot of improvements since the year prior and continues that momentum here into the 2025 season. Now, he ends with a very solid fourth place finish, but the biggest win is the continued progression that you're seeing in his physique. He's looking bigger and bigger, and his back is getting more impressive, which has always been his downfall. The one thing about him that always stands out on stage is his separation and detail through his midsection. He doesn't have the biggest structure, right? He's not somebody who's going to take up a lot of space, but he is somebody who controls his variables with his fullness and his conditioning at every single show. Now, even though he has a limiting structure, he continues to build upon that structure, which only makes him look bigger and wider without sacrificing his overall aesthetics. So I'm excited to see what he continues to do in this season, and starting off in a very impressive 2025 season, Shun Kaneko finishes fourth place at the Legion Sports Festival. And coming in at third place, we have none other than a previous Olympian in Ruben Glass. Now, over the last couple of years, Ruben has brought in inconsistent packages to a multitude of different stages that he stepped on. But it doesn't change the fact that when Ruben is on, this man is on. He has a very high ceiling, but also a very low floor. So if he doesn't nail his look, there's a good chance that he can fall out of that top conversation for a win. But if he nails his look, even in a lineup with Olympians, there's no question that Ruben can give all of these guys a run for their money. And it's definitely a shift in Ruben's physique this season compared to previous. He has already done a show prior to this, and he brought a pretty good package to that stage. And this time, he brought an even better package. So we're seeing improvements, but also we're seeing more consistency from Ruben. So I'm really excited to see what he does for the rest of this season, but nonetheless, Ruben Glass coming in with a very impressive look, a very impressive package, and placing third place at Legion Sports Festival. And coming in at a very close second place, we have Bassa out of Brazil. Now, I have had the opportunity to see Bassa compete multiple different times over the last couple of years in person. And there's no doubt that this guy has a lot of potential, but he fell short in the detail and the conditioning side of things. But coming into Legion Sports Festival, all of that has changed. This is the best version of Bassa I have ever seen in my life, hands down. His lower abdomen has always been an issue, but you can clearly see the detail in his obliques and his abs, unlike any other show he has ever had before. And not to mention, he is a big guy, and his waistline is small. Even though he's not like the biggest guy in terms of structure, a lot of muscle, but structure is not that big. He packs a lot of size on the structure, but also maintains a small waistline, which really allows him to stand out on stage, especially if he's peaked correctly. And it's safe to say he was. He was very close to an Olympia qualification this year. There's no doubt in my mind. And this is one of those guys who has consistently been in top conversations at previous shows, but we really never saw the best version of him until now. And guys, I'm telling you right now, There's no doubt in my mind that he will be an Olympia qualified athlete if he continues to bring the packages that he just brought this past weekend at Legions. But nonetheless, a very impressive look, and I'm really excited to see what he does in future shows. And the winner of the 2025 Legion Sports Festival and your newest qualified Olympian is the comeback kid himself, and Andre Dayu. The cool thing about Andre, after taking so much time off, you clearly saw the packages get consistently better with every show that he did. First, New York. Then we had Miami, and now we have Legions. And you can clearly see the differences in each of the packages that he's brought. And he's gotten tighter and fuller. And also, more importantly, corrected his posing. And I truly believe that is why he actually won this show. Because you clearly see the difference in his posing at the Legion Sports Festival compared to his previous showings, which I do believe is a massive reason why it allowed his physique to stand out even more so on stage. He has a great physique. He's a big guy, bubbly guy, and he brings solid conditioning, and also he's pretty balanced. But his posing did not allow him to show off his true potential in his physique until now. So I'm excited to see what he continues to do this season, whether he shuts it down for the Olympia or continues to run the gauntlet. But nonetheless, Andre Dayu is going back to the Olympia. And I'm really curious to know where you guys think his ceiling is at this year's Olympia. Do you guys think he can crack the top 5 again, or is he a top 10 guy? Make sure you comment below. For those of you who have supported and watched the channel for a while now, know that I will always have a special place in my heart for the Indian community. I competed last year at the SHERU Classic, and even though I didn't win, I walked away with so much more. And it really gave me an understanding and a broader perspective of how big bodybuilding truly is, and also how much international countries treat their athletes compared to how we're treated here in the United States. And it motivated me. And rewatching that show always has motivated me. But after today, watching the SHERU Classic 2025, it's safe to say the fire is lit. But before we get there, let's quickly break down your top 2 finalists at this year's SHERU Classic, starting off with your second place and your runner-up in Raul Fitness. This was without a doubt the best package that Raul has ever brought into any given stage. He has been inconsistent over the last handful of years that he was competing, but this year seemingly nailed his look. He brought the fullness, he brought the conditioning, and the one thing that really stood out was truly just how wide his lats are, especially from the front. But nonetheless, leading into the show, watching the updates that he was posting, I knew this was without a doubt the best Raul. And I actually had him in that conversation for the win going into it, when in reality was, with his inconsistencies over the years, he definitely wasn't a favorite going into the show. If Raul can find that level of consistency that he needs and can bring this package and continue to build on top of this package, I'm telling you guys right now, he will be India's next qualified Olympian. And for those of you who might not know, it is not easy for Indian athletes to qualify for the Olympia. There are only 2 shows per year that gives them that opportunity, unless they travel to the United States, very similar to what Anik Ganesh just did, where he competed at the New York Pro and just finished 3rd place at the Optimum Classic. But that's not easy to do, because going through the visa process, it's an arm and a leg, so much so that the winner of this show was also the winner of the show last year, who beat me to qualify for the Olympia, but couldn't make it because of visa issues. But the winner of the 2025 SHERU Classic is none other than now officially a 2-time qualified Olympian and my good friend in the meet, Angry. I could not be prouder of Amit. This was the best package that he's ever brought into a stage. He's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't know what's in the food or water there in India, but I can tell you this much. Whatever's taking place, you can clearly see the differences in the guys who were in that top conversation this year compared to the packages they brought just last year. They're getting better and better and better. And Amit is another one of those guys. He is young, he is hungry, and also he has a lot of potential. Right? He has so much room to continue to progress that if he continues to maximize what he's already been doing, there's no doubt that he has an opportunity to stand next to these guys at the Olympia and completely shock the world, and especially shock India. But nonetheless, Amit Angry brings a condition package, a full package, a balanced package. He masters his posing, and again, he shows up and controls his variables. And now you're looking at India's next rising star and your newest qualified Olympian. Congratulations to Amit. Brother, I am proud of you. I'm excited to see what you do this year at the Olympia, but I'm still looking for my get back. And before we close out this segment, I want to give a quick shout out to your other finalists in this show, starting off with your 5th place finisher in Love Preet, a guy with a lot of potential. He has it all, but the only thing he doesn't have is the necessary amount of tissue in order to stand next to the bigger guys. He has the conditioning, he has the fullness, and he has the balance. But once he adds on the quality tissue, he's going to be one of those guys who you see move up in the ranks, not only just at India shows, but at all shows around the world. And moving into your 4th place finisher, and the guy who I personally believe is the shock of the show, a guy who was just an amateur last year, and in his first ever pro show, is a top 4 finalist, and none other than Gotham. Now I'm gonna completely apologize in advance. I might have butchered your name, but that could also be a cool nickname. So we're gonna call you Gotham for now on, but this dude has so much potential. And when I mean potential, I mean like he is 6+ foot. He has the muscle to fill out a very tall frame. He brought insane conditioning, and he's balanced. This guy is going to be a problem. I personally believe he is the next rising star in India. He is going to make a name for himself, and I can guarantee he will be at the Olympia, whether it's at the end of this year or the following year. But nonetheless, this guy has what it takes. I would love to see this physique compete in the United States because I really do think he could do some damage. And I cannot forget about my guy who finishes 3rd place in Delta Dillup after a long-awaited comeback, brings a very impressive package, and shows that he is still a top contender for the Olympia. I'm excited to see what he continues to do this season, but nonetheless, congratulations to everybody who competed at the SHERU Classic. And I'm telling you guys right now, keep an eye out. India is coming. Dreams came true for who were 3 amateurs, now pros, this past weekend in South Carolina at the Junior USAs. At most national shows, it's common to have 8 people turn pro. There's also a few shows where even 16 people can turn pro. But at Junior USAs, there's only 3 people in the entire show who have the opportunity to earn their pro cards. So let's meet them. Starting off with your Class H winner in Patrick Jackson. Patrick Jackson is a prime example for many to never give up and to continue to push through all of the highs and lows that come with this sport. He has been competing over the last handful of years, show after show, at least 10+ national shows in order to get his IFBB Pro card, and he finally gets it done. Patrick is not only just in the tallest class, but he's like the tallest guy in the tallest class. Patrick has always had an issue filling out the massive frame that he has. His biggest strength happens to also be his biggest weakness. And because of the frame being so big, he has to fill out the gaps in between his chest and also his back. Even though his back has crazy erectors and he has a lot of density, he needs to continue to fill out his lats in order to add a little bit of width to his overall look. But nonetheless, Patrick Jackson gets it done, placing 3rd place in the overall here at Junior USAs. And your Class C winner and the runner-up to the Junior USA's overall title is none other than Roddy Dolman. And if you say it fast enough, it sounds like Ronnie Coleman. So we might have to give him that new nickname too, since we're giving out nicknames today. But nonetheless, he has a great physique. He's actually one of those guys who have like longer limbs. So I thought he was actually taller than he actually was when I initially saw him walk out in his lineup. But again, one of those guys who has a big structure, needs to continue to fill out his frame overall, but has a great taper. And when you're stepping in stage in front of Tyler Mannion, the guy who sets the standard, if you don't have the structure, the shoulder to waist ratio, unless your class is not competitive, there's a good chance you won't be in that conversation for the win. Tyler Mannion always leans more towards a look. When men's physique walks out on stage, or when classic physique walks out on stage, there is a look. And if you don't have that look, there's a good chance you're gonna get overlooked. And I'm excited to see him continue to grow throughout his professional career. And your 2025 Junior USA's overall champion and your newest IFBB Pro is none other than Gareth Smith. Gareth stood out amongst his contemporaries. His physique was very much pro-like compared to everybody else. He had the conditioning, he had the fullness, but more importantly, the shoulder to waist ratio, right? So the only thing that Gareth needs to continue to fine tune is just adding a little bit more density through his front and his back in order to continue to evolve his physique into the professional leagues. And I think a lot of people don't understand this sometimes, right? When you take a step back and you look at people who have won overalls, they have beaten pros. Right? When you're standing on stage as an overall champion at a national show, that means you have beaten professionals, or at least professionals who were now crowned that day. And that's impressive. So even though he is a new pro, he's already beaten pros. So with that thought in mind, Gareth isn't necessarily starting at the bottom of the totem pole, right? He's actually starting a little bit higher than that. And for those of you who don't know Gareth and his personality, he's very confident in himself, and for good reason. He's a man who won multiple overalls as an amateur and now continues to do so at the top amateur level. And now we get an opportunity to see what he does as a pro. He has a lot of confidence in the fact that not only is he going to make noise as a pro, but he's going to make it to the Olympia very early as a new pro. And I'm not here to judge whether or not he is or isn't, but I love his confidence. And I'm excited to see what he continues to do this season. But nonetheless, Gareth Smith is your overall winner. And who knows, will or can he make it to the 2025 Olympia? In his mind, absolutely. And sometimes that's all you need. Since the Olympia, Ben hasn't shied away from saying that he thinks he's going to win the Olympia. Not just in the future, but this year. On a recent Instagram Live hosted by Line Talk, Ben didn't hold back when talking about his competition and former Olympia champion in Erin Banks. Let's take a listen.
Okay, what is it then? You doing a warm-up show before Olympia? Ain't no big show before Olympia. So what is it? Was that all just talk for the podcast? Hey, because I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to walk you down out here. Big targets. And I won't miss. So, Erin, whoever else, anybody that want that smoke or feel like they like that, cool, pull up. Or we could just wait until we get in Vegas. Either way, y'all gonna catch this work. That part is inevitable.
He said I'm walking you down.
Hey, congratulations on the Pittsburgh win, once again. Congratulations. But hey, you guys all saw that didn't look like the Mr. Olympia winner. Shit, if we gonna sit right here and talk truth and talk facts, that didn't look like the Mr. Olympia winner to me. I mean,
we got a little hot in here. Somebody turn the AC on.
I just call it, well, it's a big win though, congrats to him. I hope he pulls up and does a warm-up show. I hope he does. That's all. I don't have anything else to say. I just want to compete and beat all these guys. I will.
This is what makes bodybuilding, and more specifically men's physique, exciting. It's two guys who are confident in their abilities to get the damn job done and aren't shy about speaking it. I don't think either of them are ripping each other down. I think both of them are stating facts from their own perspectives. And also, who knows? This is likely going to be more motivation for both of these guys en route to this year's Olympia. We're 19 weeks out from the Olympia, which means a lot of these guys are starting prep right now. And because of that, you're going to start getting these heightened emotions and a lot of shit talking that tends to come with this time of the year. And yes, Ben does find himself in the middle of a lot of these different conversations, but you can't say he didn't back it up. So because of that, guys, get your popcorn ready. The Olympia is right around the corner. And I'm telling you guys right now, there's going to be a lot of guys who make a name for themselves. And even though Ben did just that last season, let's be real. I think this guy has a lot of potential. After showing all of the improvements that he's made this past year, it's safe to say that he can easily find himself in that top conversation. Now, he has the structure, right? He has the conditioning, and especially from this update, he has the back. Can he nail it? Can he improve on his chest? Can he nail his overall peak? And if he does that, I'm telling you guys right now, people are sleeping on Ben. He can easily be in that top 5 conversation. And in his eyes, go for the win. Now, when it comes to Erin Banks, we all know Erin has brought in a multitude of different packages over the last couple of years. And even though he didn't necessarily maybe bring the conditioning that he brought at the 2022 Olympia, people keep comparing him back to those looks. He is bringing a different look. But if we continue to compare Erin to the looks that he brought in the past, the reality is that's not where his physique is. It's much bigger, it's much more density. And again, he does need to aim to match that conditioning. And if he does, I do think that there's nobody in the world that can beat him. If he matches the 2022 Olympia conditioning with the added sizing mass that he has now, it's over. It's over. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. If Ben is 100%, nails his look, and Erin, say, brings the look that he brought at the Pittsburgh Pro, who do you think actually wins that battle? Make sure you comment below.
And I know a lot of you are going to get on here and say, hey, take that down. It's not a good look. But one thing I'm not going to allow somebody to do is to kind of bully me. You have 1.2 million followers, and you are putting out a narrative that I have threatened your life. I can't get down with that. I've been very quiet about the situation, even though I've been so extremely kind to Brandon. You can get online and say this, but you won't talk about how when you did the Olympia in Vegas, how I was there running tooth and nail, running behind you, helping you do everything for no reason. Not because I'm a fan, but because I'm a friend. I've always had your back. I've always bigged up you. I've always stood up for you. You can ask anybody, check my report card. One thing I've never been is a snake. I don't do weird shit with people's women behind their back, in their face, anything. So that's the reason that this is going on. It has nothing to do with anything else, because I've never wronged you. I've never taken from you. I've never done anything to you. So again, people will say, oh, it's not a good look, but I'm not going to allow somebody with 1 million followers to paint a narrative about something that isn't true.
Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to summarize this entire situation, but I'm also going to overlay things that they posted on their own social medias in order to give an audience their own perspective. So you guys can pause it and read through all of the conversations that they've had in order to really come to your own conclusion. Based off of what Ryan said in his video and also the text thread between these two, it looks like Ryan, Brandon, and Brandon's girlfriend went out to eat. And at this dinner, Ryan called Brandon's girlfriend beautiful twice and in Spanish. And I guess later, Genesis decided to let Brandon know that he did not feel comfortable. And because of that, Brandon reached out to Ryan and let him know that. And they went a little bit more back and forth. Ryan tried to explain himself. Brandon didn't necessarily see his perspective. And I don't think either of them saw each other's perspective. And that's where things started to go awry. And it got to a point where even Brandon's mom weighed in and just said, he's trying to be you. He wants to be just like you. He wears dark sport like you. All of these things, right? And because of that, it's now seeming like a family dislike of Ryan Clark. Now, in Ryan's defense, he did say it directly in front of Brandon. Now, granted, it was in Spanish, so you can make of that as what you will. But I don't think, and again, I don't know Ryan to that degree, but I don't think Ryan or somebody would try to be sneaky right in front of somebody. And I say this from the perspective of Brandon and Ryan are two friends. Like, for those of you who don't know, these guys have been friends for a while. You know, they trained together in Las Vegas, and it just seemed like their relationship was much deeper than surface level. And this situation seems like, I don't know, something that wouldn't happen between from what I thought were close friends. But nonetheless, from that situation, there's somehow been a conversation about Ryan threatening Brandon's life, and again, Brandon's girlfriend feeling uncomfortable, and all of these certain situations, which again might be more things for behind the scenes, and which again I don't think should be posted on social media. And what speaks volumes is the fact that Ryan recorded that video in between prejudging and finals of the Legion Sports Festival where he was competing at. And he posted it during that time. And I'm sure he was high emotion because he didn't place where he wanted to place, and also dealing with this situation. And then, again, I'm gonna be very clear. My job is to not try to paint one person's perspective better than the others or push you guys towards one specific way. I just want to give you guys the facts and lay it out in a way that's hopefully easily digestible. But like I said, this situation's messy all over the place, so it's going to be hard to do that. But the one thing that I will emphasize and will give my advice on is that men's physique athletes need to stop this social media shit. And what I mean by that is the negative. If you're like Benquil and Erin and you're talking your shit and you want to have a little bit of fun, but you're not, degrading or making something that's personal public, that's different. That's exciting. But it's stuff like this where it's the personal side that bleeds onto social media, where two guys who have once respected the hell out of each other, and I'm sure still do deep down, if they can just hop on a call, meet in person, they live in the same city, and have a conversation about what's going on, whether they, fix it or not. At least they know where they stand, leaving that conversation instead of taking it online and letting other people get involved. Like, I shouldn't even know this. I shouldn't be even talking about this situation in terms of this should be two grown-ass men having a conversation and two guys who are elite in their sports. One of them is the greatest of all time, in my personal opinion. It's just one of those situations where I wish social media didn't exist. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, that's the summary of that entire conversation. Don't even know how to end it, but all I know is this, man. Men's physique division is one of those divisions that continue to get looked down upon, and it's for situations like this. And I really hope these guys can mend it. These guys can get back to work. And again, go get it, man. Both of these guys have a lot riding on this season. And I really think with the training that they had leading into their shows, the friendship that they had, it seemingly made them better on stage. And now that you guys are caught up on all things men's physique, I wanted to remind you guys that Manifest Competition Wear has just dropped their new line of board shorts. And we made a company-wide decision to shorten the length of each board short in order to fully show off the X-frame of each athlete supporting and wearing our short. And we also have a shortened waistband that allows each athlete to truly show off their overall taper without having to pull their pants down every single time they're posing on stage. We have seen it time and time again. The judges will also see it too. So if you guys love the designs, make sure you click the link in my bio, Shop Manifest Competition, where you guys will not regret it. These are the best board shorts in the market. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And until the next episode.